Hey, what's going on? We are live. My name is Dr. Ben Glass. This is the Pre-Chiro podcast where we're just trying to bring you the light. We're trying to give you some perspective for what's going on from chiropractic students that are doing it right now and also chiropractors in the real world so that you can have just a little bit easier time in your path to become a chiropractor. So today we got Legend Bourne here. I want to appreciate you for taking the time with us today, brother. How are you doing?
Oh, amazing. Thank you for reaching out and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, can you describe a little bit about what you were doing before chiropractic school and what your background is? What attracted you to chiropractic?
Sure. So, before coming to chiropractic school, it was a bit of a dilemma, right? Because as a student in undergrad transitioning from high school, you have maybe a formal idea, but you kind of back and forth between a few things. Initially, it was PT, and I had a recruiter from Life come to Florida Atlantic University, where I did my undergrad in. I got my bachelor's in exercise science, and he came and he started telling me about chiropractic. Ironically, after he did that, his speech and presented chiropractic, I got into a motor vehicle accident where I was involved in a PI case. So I ended up under chiropractic care. How ironic. And as I'm under chiropractic care, I'm seeing the benefits, I'm getting better, and seeing how joyous she was, Dr. Davari in Plantation, Florida. She was like super stoked to come into work every day, always happy, always excited. The office was very vibrant, and I'm going to see her 3 times a week, and I'm like, I could do this. Like, I could definitely see myself as a chiropractor. Came to Life University for the leadership weekend in Marietta, Georgia, and did an amazing job just showing around the campus with Dr. Reitman, Chancellor Dr. Reitman, President Dr. Rob Scott, talking about chiropractic, giving perspective of vitalism, and that's what I'm about, and that's my belief, and that's how I ended up in chiropractic school because it resonated with me.
That's a beautiful thing. So, just to be clear, you had never been to a chiropractor before. You were already in college, heard this recruitment counselor trying to share that perspective, but it still didn't really hit home until you were in a car accident and ended up in an office getting that experience. Is that right?
Precisely.
So, can you speak a little bit about just that culture that you came from, your upbringing, and why there was no chiropractic experience that you had had up until college, and just the reality these days that, if I'm a student and I'm in college right now and I never heard of chiropractic and I'm hearing your story, the main thing that I hear from you is that you were never at a chiropractor until you were in college already. And that was my experience as well. So can you just shine a light on sort of your upbringing, your culture, where you came from, and how you bring that into chiropractic school and really leverage that?
Interesting question, very packed question as well. But since you want to know where I'm from, I have to put on an accent. So I'm from Jamaica, which is where I grew up. Jamaica is a place where chiropractor is rarely even said. Like, if you know anything about chiropractic, it's probably on TV. To be honest with you, how I even started getting an insight into chiropractic was when I was watching Two and a Half Men, where Charlie's brother was a chiropractor, and I think that was the only mention. And he obviously did okay because he had to pay alimony checks. I was like, okay, chiropractors do good for themselves, right? So,
You don't
but
know why, because you don't know.
I mean, chiropractic is just something that's not spoken about enough. And definitely, as a student, I also who I'm nearing graduation now. I'm in ninth quarter out of, so it's 14 quarters at Life University. I'm in my ninth right now. I also need to do a better job of also vocalizing and sharing the message of chiropractic. But as I said, growing up in a country like Jamaica, where it's a third world country, I mean, America is even as a first world. I think now with our generation, chiropractic is really kind of catching wind, because people are more awake and they're wiser, and they understand like pills and potion and treating. Let me say this correctly. treating the disease and not the cause of the disease is something that people are now more aware, especially as people are becoming more enlightened, because these are just strange times that we're living in.
No
But
doubt.
chiropractic is just not something. I don't think my parents ever mentioned the word chiropractic. I never knew I could have gone to a chiropractor at a young age. You just don't know what you don't know, and that's really it. It was just an absent thought.
And it's like, what you going to do, huh? Like, if you don't have a chiropractor in your town and you don't have that as an option, then you're never ever going to show up at a chiropractic office until you do
No,
have that option. So
exactly.
what's amazing is that we only need these two hands to show up and serve. And Jamaica, there's plenty of people with hands everywhere you look. So much ability, so much capacity to
Mhm.
teach this skill is such an important skill. Just imagine if more Jamaican people had opportunity to see the chiropractor, how that would bring the community together. Culturally speaking, what is it that brings Jamaicans together? Where do you find people coming together in a way that gives a sense of community, that gives a sense of connection? And how do communities remain connected today?
Well, Jamaica is a country that is deeply built upon our music and, I mean, our culture essentially. We have our own identity, very strong heritage. But I think through the music, the way we speak, and partying, we are just a huge party country, and that's one thing that always brings us together. But I, I I definitely agree to the latter, that it is the music that really connects Jamaica, because through the music brings the tourism, through the music, we get to share our culture, the way we think, the way we express ourselves. And I think that is, and the way we talk, I suppose. Um, but as far as what brings people together, yeah, I definitely say it's festivals, huge concerts. Mainly, it's the music and food. Definitely, can't forget the food.
Absolutely. I just ask because you need to understand the background to really understand where you're going. Like, look back to see ahead. Sid Williams, who founded Life University, wrote a nice book called Looking Back to See Ahead, which I
Mhm.
recommend most pre chiropractic students just check out because there's some great essays in there that'll build context for you. But by you looking back at really what connects your community and your culture as a chiropractor today, because I believe we need to show up for the people. We need to not forget where we came from. That's just me on my realness right here. But can you speak a little bit about what that transition was like going into chiropractic school, and maybe some surprises that you had or challenges that you faced as a new chiropractic student?
Yeah, definitely. So I had to work and go to school when I was at FAU. Um, and one thing I had to do before entering into Life U was I had to do an internship, but that's to get my bachelor's. Um, so I had to actually quit my job that was paying my bills and everything. I didn't have any loans or anything like that. So I had to quit my job and I had to intern for a good 3 months and had to figure out how I was going to like pay my bills. And I had to kind of just hustle and pick up side jobs on the weekend. I had a friend that had a moving company, so at least, but I helped him start up a moving company, so Vision Movers in Florida. And so, whenever I had free time on the weekend, that's how I would pick up like $100 or $200. And I mean, I had to do what I had to do to pay the bills. But that really was it. My grades were always on point. You didn't need your GRE. You don't need your GRE to get into grad school. You don't need a perfect GPA either. Life University minimum GPA for acceptance is a 2.7. Um, so as far as difficulties in that regard, nothing was academic. My grades were excellent, and all I had to do was put an application and pay the admission fee, and I was in. I guess
Amazing.
the most difficult part was transitioning from Florida to Georgia. That's probably was the most difficult part. I just had to get here.
What was difficult about it? Was it just finding housing and moving and uprooting yourself from your friends, your community that you had in Florida? What was the most
Mm.
challenging part?
You know what? That wasn't okay. So I'm in a relationship. So with a girl, my girlfriend for 5 years, and having that conversation and explaining to her, saying, I have to do this. But see, I didn't look at it as a challenge because I knew I needed to get out of my comfort zone in order to ascend to the next level, right? You can't grow when you're comfortable. You got to get uncomfortable. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You have to be a mover and a shaker. So I knew like I had to take this step, and I knew I had to move to Georgia. I just wanted something new. I wanted something different because I internally knew I wanted to grow. Let me just move this camera so y'all can better see me. See my hands. I like to talk with my hands.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. So yeah, so I wanted a challenge. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be challenged in a way where I wasn't before. I didn't want to be complacent anymore. I wanted to grow. I wanted to expand my knowledge. I wanted to meet new people, network, doctors, see what else is out there. Like I didn't want to be a student of my bubble anymore. So the most challenging part, just to land the plane, was probably having that conversation and maintaining a long distance relationship for 5 years. That's a whole different rabbit hole we can dive into.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's keep it focused on the prospective students' transition. I think that a lot of what you just described is something that people are going to be going through when they go into school. They're in relationships. If they have to move, they have to navigate that situation, most definitely. Can you talk to the students about some surprises that you had once you got there? I know that the academics weren't as challenging, but did you have an idea of chiropractic anywhere close to where you're at right now today with your understanding?
Okay, so just to go back to what you said the academic. Okay, so when I said academics, I meant my grades, the grade that I needed to get accepted into life. That was good. I'm happy you said that. So the schoolwork, the schoolwork that you're going to be exposed to as far as the level of coursework and course load, I would say triples, right? For example, in undergrad, you're taking 12 credits. When you get to grad school here at Life University, being full load usually looks like about 25 on up. So you're taking about 25, 26 credits, up to even 32 credits. That could look like anywhere from 8 classes up to 14 different classes you're taking in a time span of 3 months. Now, you have to keep this in mind. In undergrad, most people are probably used to a semester system where the semesters are over the course of 4 months. In grad school here at Life University, they go by a quarter system. That means that you're in school 4 times a year: fall, summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, right? So and you don't get any breaks. Well, you get regular breaks, but it's 3 weeks for Christmas break and summer break, and then 1 week between spring and fall. And I mean, you're going like plenty sleepless nights, but it's worth it. And you have to understand, if this was easy, everybody would do it. If this was easy, everybody would be a doctor. And it's something you really have to be passionate about. And I want to say you have to be passionate about what you want for you. Is this something that you want? Do you want to be successful? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be the change that you want to see in the world today? Do you want to share a different perspective and offer a new way of health and healing for those that aren't seeing progress through antibiotics and just a simple prescription? How cool is it that you get to change lives with your two hands? You get to influence the nervous system with just this, anywhere in the world, and all you need is a portable table. You can work anywhere in the world. You can also be your own boss, and that was the biggest thing for me when I came to Life University, or I should say when I chose chiropractic. Chiropractic was an avenue where I could now become solely independent and wouldn't have to depend on someone else for a pay raise or a paycheck. And I always said to myself, I'd rather make $60,000 struggling as a new business owner than working for someone for years and getting minimal increase, because the rate of inflation is definitely not matching the rate of pay. So you have to make sure you're securing your future as someone who is young, and time is your greatest resource. Um, so
So are you
yeah.
recommending people consider going at a younger age just due to kind of the amount of capacity that you need to have to handle the rigors of the program, and just putting as much effort in early on? Like, don't hesitate, don't wait, try and make it happen now? Or what do you mean by that?
Okay, well, what I meant, I was speaking for me, right? But there's people who everyone's path is different, right? And a lot of people come to grad school and they start to compare themselves. And I tell you, comparison is a thief of joy. This is all about you and only you. You are your biggest competition. So everyone has their own race. Right now, there's a young man who just joined the program. He just started his second quarter. Actually, this is the first week of the quarter, by the way. So he just started his second quarter, and he's 47. He has a 14-year-old daughter. He used to work for a neurosurgeon. Did RN. He's super experienced, but through his life's journey, he's gained more knowledge that you can't get in school. So formal education doesn't necessarily make you any smarter than the other man, and college education doesn't necessarily equate to intelligence. So don't get it confused. But what I meant is that yes, time is valuable, and it would always be best if you found what you loved earlier, because we are all finite beings.
Mm-hmm. So can you speak a little bit about what you've naturally gravitated towards within the program? What's inspired you personally?
Definitely. BJ Palmer, Fred Barge, Sid Williams, Gonstead, Thompson. Many of the great chiropractors were a part of a fraternity called Delta Sigma Chi. I am also a member of the Lambda chapter here at Life University of Delta Sigma Chi, and we are the defenders of the philosophy, essentially. Um, but being a part of a group of individuals who are highly motivated, just as hungry as I am, and I am among a band of brothers who are always feeding my fire. Whenever I start to regress into my own space or become introverted and I get around them, I get fired back up. I'm motivated. I'm ready to go. I want to uh, learn more and grow and read as many green books as I can. Um, but the big thing, once again, that motivated me is just what I get to do and what I look like on the other side of school, which I get to be someone's healthcare provider. Like I can be someone's primary care physician. I get to facilitate the innate healing of someone who I may be their last option. But even though as a chiropractor, sometimes unfortunately we become a last option, we are the best option. So it's exciting. Like the future is exciting. It's bright. Chiropractic is in a great place right now. I think that if you're looking for a career field where you can eventually, and you don't have to, right? Because you can always associate under another doc if you choose. There's so many different avenues, and chiropractic within itself as a business is so lucrative that you have options. You have options, whatever that may look like for you, depending on what state you go to. If you want to go internationally, if you want to go to Europe, if you want to go to Australia, the Netherlands, the Caribbean, South America, that option's there. And the one thing that won't ever leave you is your skill set. Is your skill set. So it's exciting, just to know what's to come on the other side of graduation.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel you. So as a ninth quarter student, it sounds like you've entered the clinic. Is that right?
Yeah, I have. I am in my second quarter of clinic. So you start clinic in eighth, and now I'm in ninth, and I just started. Yes, and I do have patients who present with chronic headaches, a wide array of condition and positive orthopedic tests. And I'm proud to say that I've been the student clinician to clear those ortho tests and make them negative and eliminate their headaches and bring them in a space of better function and better expression of life.
Beautiful. What kind of courage does it take for you as a clinic intern to really put to practice what you've been learning these last couple of years? You've got so much value in your heart for chiropractic, and now here's somebody in front of you that you get to offer it to. Did you feel prepared when you got there? And if so, like, where did you really step out of your comfort zone and push yourself to start to be that professional that you're becoming or have already become?
Great question. So number one, did I feel confident? Well, I think to answer the first part of the question, confidence was what gave me the courage. Confidence equals doctor. And through my training, because the beautiful thing about Life University in Marietta, Georgia, is that they're a super diverse school. They offer so many different seminars, so many different technique clubs, and you get exposed to a huge level of extracurricular work that you can take on. And this is, once again, not a part of the curriculum. This is extracurricular. So this means that you chose to say, you know what, I need to grow in certain areas. This is a seminar I can go to gain that understanding and that knowledge or that skill set. Granted, these seminars are usually being taught by other doctors or chiropractors or speakers. There's just so many different influencers that come to life and come to these universities. And because most chiropractors do want to give back, like you're doing now so well, Dr. Glass. And so with that being said, I attended a lot of seminars, and how I got exposed to that was by surrounding myself around the right people. You are the top 5 individuals that you surround yourself with. And I made sure I surround myself with guys who were already adjusting. And I'm talking about, I just came in my first quarter, and I'm like, how do these guys already know that? And I started putting myself around the people who I was inspired by. That in turn made me as good and even better than even the folks I was shadowing. So I made the investment to go to seminars, travel, recruit patients for docs, do health talks, screenings, and all of this before probably my fourth quarter, I want to say. And by fourth quarter, I was adjusting. And I decided to go on a mission trip.
Of course, all students, when they do adjustment trainings, it's under the supervision of a licensed doctor. As a pre-Chiro student, you should not be practicing adjusting. You should be going through the motions of getting familiar with how it feels in your body to move in the way that a chiropractor moves. And that's oftentimes what chiropractic students are training in. But I just want to be really clear because, like you said, you were capable of adjusting at fourth quarter, and your school, your education allowed you to step up and be watched and be observed and be supported as you began to place your hands on with that specific and clear intent. So I just want to be clear with that.
Yes, thank you for clearing that up. So, and so I attended a lot of palpation nights, and I was gaining my chiropractic library per se. So the thing that comes with experience is feeling and having that tactile touch to know what's what. And then I got a chance to actually go on a mission trip, once again supervised by clinic docs, to Haiti and Dominican Republic,
Wow.
where we saw many individuals and we got the opportunity to adjust thousands of people. And me, myself, and most the folks that were there with us, if you were there for the whole week between DR and Haiti, I know I hit at least 1,000 individuals. So just getting the reps in is what gave me the confidence to be successful in clinic now. And it definitely just came with the time and the dedication that comes with that kind of success. You have to put the work in.
Wow. What an experience to be able to go to Haiti, to go to Dominican Republic and see what's there, see what's going on, see the pain in those communities, and know that you have something to offer as a student. But what did you witness there in that experience? Can you reflect on a little bit of that? And also, before you do, I just want to tell any prospective student, if you're interested in a service trip, get in touch with the different service trip offerings. They exist. They're out there. Chiropractic students find these service trip opportunities. And as a prospective student, I think it's a great idea for you to go and take that opportunity to go there and observe what's happening on these service trips. It'll really put you in touch with chiropractic on a deep, deep level. So I'm sorry to have prefaced that message with that message. Not sorry, but I just wanted to preface that message. Can you share a little bit about what you witnessed when you went on those service trips?
I witnessed, especially in Haiti, a country that is in dire need of chiropractic care. But what I did witness was a lot of poverty. I witnessed individuals who didn't have access to health. I saw someone who had a daughter and he was bringing his daughter and she had a goiter. And iodine, simple solution, iodine. I witnessed individuals who all they needed was an opportunity. I witnessed folks who just wanted a better life, but it was a lot of poverty. It was a lot of poverty. People who came on your table, some of them were very ill. Some of them just wanted answers. Some of them were just desperate for some form of healing, and for us, they looked at us as someone who could do them a huge service because most of them aren't going to, getting physicals and getting regular checkups. That's non-existent essentially. They can't afford it. A lot of homelessness. I went to an orphanage. So the person that I went to this mission trip, who coordinated the mission trip, is Dr. Peter Morgan. Not sure if you're familiar with him, but Dr. Peter Morgan, and he did a great job. He actually created an orphanage there, which I should be going back in March. Those kids hit me up all the time. I met so many bright sparks, bright students who, once again, all they require is an opportunity. So I saw a lot of lack of opportunity, but most importantly, during my time there, I allowed the expression or the reconnection to the brain and the body for many individuals. And my greatest joy was I helped to facilitate their expression of health and help them get back to 100% function. And if that's all I could leave, what I left was more than I came with. So I was super happy, and I made some great connections, met some great people, and I met the kids at the orphanage where I actually spent a night there. In one of the beds, just the windows were open. It wasn't even completely finished, but I stayed, got to really know the kids, brought in supplies and stuff like that for them, school supplies, clothes, a whole bunch of good stuff. and just left a really good mark. And I'm looking to go back in March for a week again. Yep.
Can you share about how beautiful it is to connect with somebody beyond language? Because when you're in the DR or you're in Haiti,
Interesting question.
oftentimes you don't speak the same language and people can't communicate their story.
Yep.
How is that as a chiropractor?
So that's a great question, by the way, because yes, so before we went, right, so we had to, I think we're on the plane flying in from Florida into Haiti, and we have a few Spanish speakers, people from Puerto Rico who came with us, and we had to learn the simple instructions like boca arriba, which is like face up, boca abajo, face down. I don't remember what like on your side is, but simple instructions just to get them into the correct adjusting position. But as they looking up to us as future docs, I mean, they trust us. We know what we're doing and we're very confident with what we do. So it wasn't as hard as you'd think. Initially, it was, but once you got over that, the beginning, getting the rust off, and like once we got going, it was smooth sailing. But they know. And then interestingly enough, I think because Dr. Peter Morgan hosts this mission trip and he's been doing it for so many years, I think Haiti and DR is probably more familiar with chiropractic than a lot of other places, to be honest with you. And plus, we're coming there as students. We're offering that service for free. So all we needed to give them was simple instructions: face up, face down, on your side, whatever that may look like, and we just did our thing, and they just followed. Yeah.
It's going to get really real when you go back to Jamaica to a community that has no chiropractor with your table. And
so just to land that plane, I actually spoke with Dr. Neil Gardner. He is a chiropractor in Jamaica. He actually partnered with Parker University in Texas, where his office is a space for internship or where they can peak, which I had no idea because that's his alma mater. And I got in touch with his wife and I sent him an email because I'm actually going down to Jamaica in December to go shadow his office for a few days, make some connections. Because truth be told, I'm ignorant to what chiropractic looks like down there. I have no idea. Of all the years I've always traveled, I've never actually thought to say, well, what does the scope of chiropractic look like in my own country? And that's on the list of my to-do list. And so I will be there from December 20th to January 8th, just doing some mission work and getting busy and trying to see what that may look like and options for chiropractic to bridge that gap.
There's another amazing chiropractor named Tracy down there. She has an organization called Global Livity, and I can connect you.
Yes, please.
Yes. So where do we go from here? What is your plans for the future? Would you recommend this career path to people? Like, if I'm trying to differentiate whether I want to go a medical career path like physician's assistant, or I want to go become a nurse practitioner, or even a medical doctor or a DO, or maybe I want to be a physical therapist, or maybe I want to be a chiropractor, how would you differentiate chiropractic from these different career paths?
1, what do you believe in? 2, what do you stand for? 3, are you in it for the money? Or are you passionate about it? You have to know those things. So you have to first ask yourself and answer those questions, and most importantly, go see what those professions look like. Go spend a day in an office, go spend a day in a PT office, go spend a day in a chiropractic office. Talk to those who are already in the profession and see what they say. Because even though the money might be associated with one, it might not actually truly satisfy your soul, so you need to know what's calling for you. You need to get a greater understanding of what each profession is about and exactly what they do. I think essentially all of them are under the umbrella of helping people and helping individuals. All of them do that in very different ways, and you have to see what way you'd like to facilitate someone's healing and their full expression of health.
And if I was to add to anything, I would just say go to multiple chiropractic offices, because there's a chance you won't end up in the right office for you. Every chiropractor has a different way of practicing, and chiropractic is many things to many chiropractors. So I just would recommend any prospective student consider at least going to 3 different types of offices if you can, if you have that time and that ability, if you have that access. But can you speak to what your vision for your future is, and the trajectory that you see yourself going on in these years after you graduate and go into the real world?
Great question. Thank you. Yes. So I am still wading through the options. So many. I came migrated from Jamaica at 14 to Florida, so I knew Florida for some time. I've only been in Georgia for 2 years because of school. I love Georgia. It's really started to grow on me. I love the fact that even if I was to start a practice here, I still have access to a whole bunch of future students that I can give back to. And then I have Jamaica, which is on my list of options, which is an untapped nation for chiropractic. Um, and I think it all boils down to, what do I want to do? Do I want to live in paradise? Do I want to stay in America for the dollars?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me just see if I'm sorry. Trying to see if my phone's about to die right here. I didn't realize it can get cut later. My bad. Man. All right, listen. I didn't mean to cut you off. We're gonna go back. If I fall out, finish your thought. I apologize. I appreciate your time, man. Doing this from my office. This just happened. So my bad.
Yeah,
But
no problem, no stress.
finish your thoughts. So you think you're gonna go back to Jamaica? Finish right there, because it's gonna get edited to right that point.
I could start over. So as I was saying though, but yes, so what's my future in the trajectory for moving? Oh, it sounds good.
You hear the sounds?
Yeah.
It's like, is that me or is that you? I can't.
I think it might be on your end.
Anyway, listen, don't trip. We had a lot of great discussions right there. There's a lot of amazing.
No.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I can't hear you.
Check, 1, 2. I can't hear you, but you can keep talking about your vision. Okay. So, what does chiropractic look for me on the other side of graduation? Well, I'm still wading through all the different options. I migrated from Jamaica to Florida at the age of 14, so I do know Florida. Came to Georgia, and I've only been here for 2 years, but I'm really loving it. I'm not sure exactly where I want to end up, but I'm contemplating Georgia, Florida, or Jamaica. I just kind of have to make my decision on what route I want to go to and how I want to go about opening up my office and my own practice. And what's helping me make that decision now is meeting more doctors, shadowing more offices, learning about the business aspect, because the business aspect isn't, yeah, they say you learn some business things in school, but nothing is going to equal soul experience in the office to prepare you for the real world. So right now it's just about kind of tapping into a few different offices, shouting some docs, and getting my feet wet, and seeing what the scope of practice looks like for Florida, Georgia, and even Jamaica. The laws, a lot of things to consider, but all I know is I'm going to be successful wherever I go, and the future is bright. And that's it.
Hey, Chiro. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure, Dr. Glass. You can reach out to me anytime. If any students have any further questions, my email is legend.bourne@hotmail.com. You guys can send me an email. You guys can also follow me on Instagram at Legend Bourne, and reach out with any questions that you may have, and I'll be more than happy to guide you in the right direction.
Thank you.